Welcome to Planting Joy Gardens.
So as promised, I'm going to show you how to use the air fryer to dehydrate your herbs. So we're going to start with herbs that have been washed. I washed them. I just kind of laid them out so that they could drip dry, just to help with the process so it's not so much water. Then in this case, I have my basil, and basil brews very easily. I'm just going to, as much as possible, lay it out nice and flat. The thinner the layer, the better. But modern air fryers move so much air that it's not really a big deal. So now we're going to go over to the air fryer. Okay, so I'm just simply going to place the herbs on the foil and put them inside. And because it's an air fryer, it uses air to blow heat around whatever's in the air fryer. So you're going to want to place a knife just to kind of hold things down. And I try to lay mine out nice and neat so that at least some portion is laying under the knife and will not be picked up and cooked. So then we'll put it in. And based on the model of your air fryer, mine has a setting that says dehydrate. Now, if you pick that setting, it's usually anywhere from 125 to 135. And you press start, and you see that it'll generally take at least 8 hours to dry that. Well, I don't like to do that, so I'm going to stop mine, and I'm going to set my temperature at 140. 140 is the temperature that helps to keep food safe. At the 140, you don't have to worry about mold and mildew. You're basically killing everything. If you do it at the 125, 130, 135, well, it's going to take 7 hours. There is the potential for growth on your herbs. So I prefer to go to 140. 145 is better, 40 or 145, and it'll, because it is a higher temperature, it'll take about 10 minutes. So I'll bring you back after we've preheated and I have dried this out. And so while we're waiting, I have onions. I find that onions are extremely hard to dehydrate. So I actually chop them up and freeze them. If you're willing to put the time in, you can dehydrate these quite easily at high temperatures and then just kind of grind it down to a powder. The rosemary, because it has a waxy coat on it, I prefer to use the air dryer, and this is when you really want to get that 140. And I haven't noticed a change in flavor. It still is very, it has its natural oils. So I like to use an air fryer because it has such a waxy coat and it is evergreen. It can be a little difficult to air dry. It may take time. Chives, because it is so thin, they air dry very quickly. Again, I would do it at 140, 145, depending on how your air fryer is set. And we've done thyme both dry in the air, which I find that thyme air dries very quickly in like a week, perfectly dry. But sometimes I use the air fryer and sometimes I will just letting it air dry, hanging. And I prefer to air dry it in here. I feel like it gets plenty of air. So let's go check on that basil. So we are done, and this is how it looks. And there we go, dried basil. So you can simply take a knife and chop down the leaves a little smaller, pull out any stems that may have been remaining. Stems over there, spices here. This is what I have in that bundle. And I am going to fill my jar. I simply fold over the foil and in the jar it goes. And mine's are not finely crushed. They're kind of coarse, which is okay. So this tells me that I need to harvest out some more basil. So I want to make sure if I fill this jar, I'll have what I need to get me from this point of the year, early fall, back around to summer where I can harvest again. But in the meantime, I will continue to harvest my basil until I get my full supply. And so that's just a little information on how to dehydrate using the air fryer. You can use the actual setting and dehydrate between 125 and 135 based on your machine, or you can bump it up a little bit, cut off hours if you can go up to 140 to 145 to dehydrate. You can get it done in 10 minutes, or you can do the really low temperatures and do it anywhere from 8 to 12 hours. I always have to use a dehydrator. So this is some time. I collected it and just allowed it to air dry. It's only been a week. I air dried it indoors in an air conditioned environment. So it took a week. Mold and mildew is not a problem when you're indoors in the air conditioning, particularly if you control the humidity in your home. And so what I'm going to do is just simply strip the thyme leaves right off. And when you buy dried thyme in the store, it can have a whole lot of branches in it, a whole lot of stems. So you might actually see stems like this. Well, this is my homegrown, so I don't want the stems. I don't need fillers because I have plenty of this in the yard. You just want to make sure that you are harvesting so that you can fill your containers. So this is my thyme container here, and I want to make sure I get this jar filled before winter. So I'm going to do regular harvest of not only the thyme, but all of my herbs. And I want to get it all in and collect it, because once the snow hits, there will be no harvesting of thyme. Yes, it's a perennial. Yes, it can survive even the coldest environment, but you can't go out and harvest under a snowbank, nor would you want to. And I'm in the cold zone. I'm in zone 5. So I just wanted to share with you that you don't always have to use the dehydrator. You can use the air drying method. And I am getting quite a bit. And this was just a small harvest of thyme. So you want to start this process early enough so that if you did not collect enough, you have more time. Get it? You get more time to grow thyme. Yes, so at this point, I have roughly 45 more growing days, and where I have clipped will grow out with no problems. So start harvesting those herbs, waste nothing.